See you on your back. Lying down on your back, just check your feet are not directly underneath your knees. So for most of us, that'll feel a little uncomfortable to get the feet a little further forward. So if you can see yourself in your camera, just check sideways that your feet are not underneath the line of your knees. So that should be a 90-degree angle when you look at yourself in the camera. Yeah, most of us like to tuck your feet in. See if you can make that deliberate shift. Great. Our first little exercise is called constructive rest. Connecting all the parts to the floor. Waking up the body as a whole. So getting in touch with yourself, beginning to build the organization of the body. So you're starting your alignment practice now, really gently. So I usually start that with my feet and my hands. So just bringing awareness into the hand and the foot. Spreading out my toes. Laying the toes with space, with length. That already wakes up the foot. And then from there, I bring awareness through the leg. So up to find my two kneecaps. Down the thigh to find my hip. A feeling of letting the weight fall into the hip. Coming into the back of my pelvis and widening across the back line. Releasing the tension across my sacrum. And then feeling like the two halves of the pelvis wrap. So widening across the back and a gently narrowing feeling across the front. So that feels like now I've landed my pelvis. Coming up to the head. Bringing awareness to the back of the skull. Feeling its width. Feeling its weight. A sense of energy reaching out the tippy back point of the crown of the head. Sensing the length of the spine. Sensing the curves of the spine. And just noticing how I feel in the back this morning. So which spots can't I feel so much? So I'm bringing attention to those. Trying to unlock. So I can feel the whole column and the energy traveling down the whole column. Bringing my awareness into my arms. And gently start my process, lengthening the arm without hardening the armpit, without gripping through the shoulder. Sending a message to my shoulder blades to widen and float. Shifting them to the edges of my trunk. So my thoracic can lay. Now we breathe. Long, slow, steady inhale. Keep the constructive rest element going. So that little body scan we just did, can you keep it up as you breathe? Getting deeper into your foot. More deeply involved from foot to leg to hip. Deeper into your pelvis. the widening across the back and the gentle narrowing across the front. More deeply involved in your hands, arms, and shoulders without gripping. More deeply involved in the head, neck, upper back, middle back, lower back, sacrum, coccyx. Last practice. Bringing fingertips onto the sternum, waking up the initiation and the coordination for flexion extension. Breathing in, sternum shifts up, out, and forward. How far can you let it go? How much air can you allow in? Exhale, feel it fall really slowly. So careful there's not too much energy in your breathing. Can you let the breath pass through you without causing any tension? What does it feel like to have control over the diaphragm? So your ribs don't suddenly fly out for breath in. Slow and steady. You should feel the impact of this in your thoracic. You should notice the energy in your thoracic. And then on your exhale, you should notice the widening of your back, the falling. So we're creating a spongy rib cage, a spring-like rib cage. One more. Bending over on your tummy. Same but different. Feedback's going to be different. Floors replace your hands, but also gravity. So the impact of gravity will feel very different. Long, slow, steady breath in. You can now get really interested in the coordination between your diaphragm and your abdominals. Be brave. Fully breathe. Exercise the diaphragm. How far can you let it fall, compress? How far can you let it rise? Increasing the tone in the abdominals, increasing the elasticity. You want to be good at both breath in and breath out. And when I say good, you just want to have functional strength. There's no snatch, no grab. The abdominals just get swept up because of what you're focusing on, which is allowing the diaphragm to rise as far as it can and the rib cage to collapse, the lungs to empty. It's common we hold a bit of breath in the lungs. See if you can sense that in yourself. Take us to the uncomfortable for both breath in and breath out. Sitting back into child pose. Enjoy the position. No task. Just rest. Spinning over on our sides. Into the famous Gentry 1-1 breathing exercise. Long, slow, steady breath in. Now you're feeling a shift laterally. So now you're getting ready for lateral flexion. Spine will be moving, pelvis will be moving. Long, slow, steady exhale. The rib cage is falling, underside body is collapsing. You'll feel the underside body open up, get longer. You'll feel the top side get shorter. Again, no snatching or grabbing. Feel it right through to your sacrum and as high as your neck. Toning up the obliques. They need to be strong over length. You want them to have good tone. So invite that coordination between abdominals and breathing now. Great, second side. I try to breathe in as slowly as I can. Giving more time and space, really exercising my potential to inhale. And then as I exhale again, I try to breathe out as slowly as I can. So I'm controlling the speed. Last one. Great, and rest. Going over into our tummy, waking up our shoulder girdle, our upper torso, and our mid-back stabilization in preparation for our bridges and our pelvic curls. My arms are in goalposts. My legs are apart. My legs are in parallel. My legs are active. Having a little minute with my body in this position. Noticing my core, sinking long, feeling the widening across my back, particularly my middle back, feeling the length through my spine. So there's an energy to the position. I'm thinking long. I'm going to really gently press my elbows and my palms down into the floor, about 2 out of 10. And as I press the elbows and the palms into the floor, I'm feeling tone come in around the outside edge of my shoulder blades, down the sides of my body, into my waist, picking up my core. So I press a little harder on exhale. And then I just let the energy back off the breath in. But I keep practicing the length of the spine I keep practicing the control of the abdominals. So right now, you're practicing not letting belly go. So what does it feel like not to push against the mat as you breathe in? Breath is going to be smaller. And then as you exhale, what does it feel like to release the tension and let the rib cage collapse, creating a widening feeling across the back and a narrowing, tapering feeling across your front. One more practice. Deceivingly athletic. So the position itself is challenging. Great. Now stretch your arms out so you're in a T. Try exactly the same thing. Arms are as fully stretched as you can make them. So bring the tone to the arm, bring the length. And now practice the same thing. Can you elongate in this position? Can the tippy back point of the crown of the head reach a little further forward? Can you feel the energy through the spine all the way past your coccyx? Can you practice tapering, narrowing your waist, a feeling of wrapping on the abdominals? Maintain it for breath in, but feel the pressure in your container as you breathe in. I call our torso a container. It's kind of useful right now. Encourages you to think 3D, deep sides, deep back to deep front, and deep front to deep back. Think athletic in your arms and shoulders, but be careful you don't grip. Okay, same, V. This time, your palm hand is up. You're on the outside border edge of your hand, the pinky edge. Get those elbows fully stretched. Widen across your collarbones. Slot the arms and shoulders in without gripping your shoulder blades. So think about the shoulder blades surfing and floating. Now bring tone to the side bodies. Feel like your arms slot into your middle back. Can you see that? It's like a V. Can you find the bottom of your capital V right in your middle back? Now get longer. Good. Now come back to your goal pose. You're going to pick up the forearm. Breathe in. You're going to exhale, lower it down. Keep working on your spine. Careful you don't collapse in your lower back. That same sensation of drawing into the V in your middle back. So imagine those arms are still long. What did that feel like? Can you get wider across your middle back and longer through the spine? 2 to go. Last one. Good. Sitting up with me now. Should feel pretty fabulous. You should feel alive. You should feel very elongated and long. You should feel very wide. You should feel very in touch with your upper torso. Okay, here comes the percussive breathing. So I'm using my hands for resistance. I'm bringing my hands in and trying to tighten around the edges of my rib cage. First 2 sets of 5, second 2 sets of 4, 3, 2. Last set is only 1 set of 1. Are you ready? Have a little rest. Creep your fingertips forward and round your back. As you creep your fingertips forward and round your back, draw your abdominals back deep. Do 6 cycles of breathing, drawing the abdominals back deep. No weight on your fingertips. Lift up out of your waist every time you exhale. Can you get a little longer every time you exhale? Careful, the abdominals are not releasing as you breathe in. Feel the pressure and tension. So it's like the breath is sitting inside of the container. But the drum is solid. Good. Second set. Okay, make sure you're as noisy as me. If you got kids in your house, if only they knew. They will one day. You ready? Good. On your back, posterolateral breathing. Pull me into a roll like a ball position. Squeeze your feet together. Wrap your hands around on top of your ankles and actively drive your legs into your arms. Lift your butt up off the ground. Curl the spine. Wrap into the shape and practice 6 cycles of posterolateral breathing with me. Look at your belly. Remember, it can't rise. Get the back going. Get the back widening. Get the breath into the back and side. You're training your core. Keep pushing those legs. Rest. Good job. Come with me for a bridge. Pop your ball between your legs or cushions between your legs. Whew, don't know about you, I'm sweating. Okay, I feel suitably warm, which is exciting because going into the bridge, you need to make sure your body's ready. So you've got enough energy in your deep back, deep sides, and deep front so you can support yourself. Okay, you're going to need your arms and shoulders. Push the floor away and get your pelvis up. Careful. As you look along the spinal column up here, make sure you haven't hyperextended your back. So are you in neutral? Core is on maximally. Deep sides are on maximally. And my upper torso is really working. Now keep your upper torso working as you lay. Careful, it's not a tuck and a roll. Think like a stick, act like a stick through the spine. Think you've been rodded. Check your neutral when you land. Remember that mid-back should be on the floor. So if it's not, that means you squeezed your shoulder blades together. Careful, we've already done pre-Pilates to get that set. Inhale up. Careful, don't squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift through the hips. Use your deep back and glutes, use your legs. Traction back through the feet, suck them back towards your sit bones. Keep your feet working as you lay the back, think long. Remember, the lower back shouldn't touch the floor. So be deliberate, really focus on the alignment of the spine. Two to go, slowly up. What can you feel as you're moving? Breath, spinal alignment, stabilization, spine, pelvis, shoulders, torso. Feet, knees, legs, mobilizing through the hip. So careful you're not tightening your hip. Last one. Okay, we're going to do 10 little foot draws. So I suck the feet and it moves my pelvis just ever so slightly. Be careful you don't release your shoulders. So you shouldn't be moving your head. That means you've let your shoulders go. Just pull with the feet, creating a traction. 3 more. Rest. Good job. Okay, we need our sturdy platform for your next one. So it's a pelvic press. So I'm going to use my couch, pop my feet up. My legs are straight. And this time I've got to squeeze my legs together. It's exactly the same focus on the pelvic stabilization and the spine, neutral. I'm still going to need those shoulder blades wide. Careful you don't squeeze them together. I'm going to need the strength to keep the back wide. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Careful. Neutral, no tuck. Make sure your mid-upper back lands. Make sure your pelvis lands, but not your lower back. Squeeze those legs together. Press the feet down. Lift. Deep back to deep front. More pressure on your container. Can you get your waist narrower? Can you get the distance between your front and back body smaller? One to go. Okie doke. Ready for the hundreds. So our legs are ready, spine's ready. We can now draw into the trunk flex position. We should be quite successful. We've got enough length. We've got enough strength. Flex up. Think about your wide upper torso. 10 sets. I'll see you at the end. Light feet. Last set. Oh, very good. How good is that? Okay. Back on our back. Suitably energized. Could you now float your legs up tabletop? Little gap between your knees. Feel free to float your tool in again. Prop, your little prop. Either your ball or your cushions. Actively squeeze the ball or prop so the adductors are really working. Squeeze your feet together and actively suck and draw your legs into your hip. Careful they're not hanging about. Inhale, spine twist. Exhale, come back to center. Really feel your upper torso. Wide across the back. Long through the spine. We've done a lot of work on setting that stabilization. You should notice it's easier to manage yourself now. Whole body is working in an organized way. so you can promote thoracic mobility. Toning up your waist, toning up your core. So make sure there's enough pressure on your core. Can you feel the tapering through your waist as we pull back to center? Can you feel the energy and pressure on your lower core because of how you're using your legs? Last one. Great. We're going to practice our roll like a ball this morning. So pulling us up into that tight tuck position that we worked on in your warm-up. Remember, the feet have got to squeeze together. Remember, the legs have got to push out into the shoulders and arms. Good, you've got to start rocking. Don't know about you, it took me about 10 to get up, but it feels fabulous through my back now. That's because I kept the rigor of the position. I didn't stop pushing out with my legs. I didn't worry about getting to the top. It just happened. It happened because I kept pressing with my legs, widening across my back, squeezing with my feet, which opened up my shape, and then I used momentum. 2 more. Last one. Great job. Back on your mat. Let's practice our leg circles this morning. Let's float left leg into our chest and actively press left leg up into our hands. Let's reach right leg up to the ceiling. This is one of my favorite ways to practice leg circles. I've stolen it from Blossom. It's called piston leg circles, which is kind of great because the start position represents the name of the exercise. You're pressing down. You're circling around, nice and steady. Understanding the hip mobilization on the right. Understanding the hip stabilization and pelvic stabilization, spinal stabilization. So encourage that right leg to do a deep circle, but manage yourself. Manage your pelvis, manage your spine, manage the effort in your left leg. Good. Switch legs. Get the activity in the right leg, actively pressing up against your hands, and get enough activity in your left leg. So really tone it up. Keep the tone as you lower the leg. Long through the inner thighs. We've just done a lot of work on those hamstrings, so you should really feel your bridge muscles, the back of the leg active. So careful the leg muscles aren't just hanging about. So think energetically in both legs. Great, switch sides, let's reverse. A little harder. Be aware. How do you open the leg without swinging your pelvis? How do you cut across low with control? Draw it back up. I know it's painfully slow, but it's so good for it. Actively working on those hip flexors so that by the time we sit up for spine stretch, you're going to be able. Doesn't matter when you breathe. So you practice a breath cycle with the coordination of your leg circle. Switch sides. So I like to breathe in to open, and I like to exhale as I go down that bottom edge because I find that hard, and arrive back at the top. So for me, it's about keeping the tone. So as I go down that bottom edge, I want to feel the support through the hamstrings, the adductors. I'm checking that. As I go wide, I'm really sensing what I'm doing in the pelvis and all the non-moving parts, but actually technically they're all moving. Micro shifts, rest, good job. Fold knees into your chest. Good, that set us up beautifully. Let's go a single leg stretch. Let's curl up. Left leg low and long, right leg tucked right in. Pull it right in on your chest. Make sure both legs have got tone. Slip through. It's like you're slipping into a pair of trousers. Pull it, pull it, pull it. Good. Now the tone and the energy doesn't drop out. Can you feel that? Flip them through slowly. Really work. Train it. Using the limbs to challenge the core. Consciously with your wide back. Consciously with how you're operating in neck and shoulders. So find the alignment with the head. Good. And rest it. Good. We're going to go up and we're going to crisscross it. Okay, let's do it. Curl it up. Stay nice and tight. Hands behind your head. Good. This is an interesting position. Get it right. So really express yourself across your upper torso. Stay strong in your shoulders and upper torso. Support your head. Twist. Right knee in. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. Turn and look right back to the furniture behind you. Control it, switch sides. We've worked on that energy and tone. It doesn't drop out. Careful. Work your legs. Rest it. Rock yourself to sit up. Whew, that was good. Okay, let's spine stretch it. Let's raise those two arms up. Good. You should feel really great in your sitting position. You should feel a lot of energy. Legs pushing down. Torso spiraling up. Shoulders widening. Arms long. Feels like you're pressing down with the palms, just like you're pressing down with the legs and the feet. Exhale. Sternum pulls inwards. And as the sternum pulls inwards, it encourages you to flex. Keep drawing the sternum inwards. The further forward you go, can you draw the sternum further inwards? Now feel your abdominals. The further forward you go, check your arms and shoulders. Are they still pressing, lengthening, and slotting in? Check your legs. Are you still actively pressing down? Slowly recoil. Keep your legs. Keep pushing down. Long arms. Sit taller, sit taller, sit taller. How does it start? With breath and sternum. That shapes the back. That alters the back. Keep feeling the breath. Keep feeling the sternum. How deep can you get your front center line? Keep pressing down with legs. Slowly recoil. There's no on and off. Legs don't rest. Arms don't rest. Abdominals. Posture. Last one. Sternum. Keep feeling it. Slowly recoil. Rest. Whew, a lot of work. Okay, lying down on your side, 2 straight legs. Hands over the top. I know, very challenging, but let's be brave. We've set up well. Okay, a lot of tone, a lot of energy. Make sure you're working. So how strongly can you express through your legs? Similarly with your arms and shoulders. How long can you make your arms? How wide can you make your shoulders right now? Center your back. Inhale to float both legs. If you're falling, bring the front hand down. Breathe out. There'll be some of you in the Zoom that can manage this. Inhale. Exhale. Complete focus on pelvic stabilization and spinal stabilization. Really work your legs. Can you squeeze them together before you lift? Last one. Good. Can you bring the top hand down? Can you float the top leg up? Flex both feet. Actively press the bottom leg and foot down into the ground. Side kick. Can you hear the breath? Can you mimic it? Now match it with your legs. Last one. Hold it there. It's a really powerful exercise, yes? There's nothing passive about it. Now you're going to switch the breathing. We're going to do inhale for the 2 pulses forward. Ready? Last one. Good. So it's kind of like Kung Fu or karate. Yes? Same kind of dynamic, same kind of energy. And why? Because that sets up maximal stabilization in the spine and pelvis. So good for us. Okay. All right, you ready? 2 arms reaching above if that's you. Either hand down on the floor if you need the support. Remember, your intention is not to swing your pelvis, not to change the spine, get maximal tension on those legs before we kick off. Squeeze the feet together. Fully stretch those legs and raise it up. Breath in. I know I've given you a challenge. Inhale to float up. Can you understand yourself on inhale? You should still be able to stabilize. Can you understand the core on inhale? So the legs are not resting. Squeeze the feet together before you lift. Last one. Okay, let's side kick it. Press the underneath leg down, make sure you're fully stretched. Both legs, tone them up. Here we go. Keep up. Hold it. We're going to reverse the breath. Here we go. Last one. Rest it. That was fun. Okay, let's swim. Let's link back to those beginning pre-Pilates exercises. Let's really understand ourselves in this position. It's important we get this range. That 180-degree shoulder range is just life. It's just function. So as a Pilates instructor and a budding Pilates instructor, we want to keep working on our own physicality. All right, so palms are pressing, arms and shoulders, sucking, drawing in, but also lengthening out. You need long arms. Set your legs, set your pelvis, connect to center. Float the chest up and work on your back. So how do you find extension in the spine? Control your lumbar. Think about the pre-Pilates exercises that got the widening across the back and the V, slotting right into that middle back. Float both arms and legs right now without losing the core control and your pelvic stabilization. Take care. Float. Control the lowering, reset. Float. No grab, no snatch. The limbs feel like they're extending from what you're doing in your torso. Maximal stabilization. Those of you more experienced, so I've got faculty in the Zoom, work on your range. Last one. From this place, press left palm and right foot down into the floor. Hold the other two up. Work on your spine, work on your pelvis. Everything floats back up, like we're skydiving. Other two press down, which is kind of a great image to think about skydiving, because right now you want to be lying on a glass table. Least amount of impact. How can you support yourself? One more each side. Rest. Sitting back into child pose. Whew. Okay. We're tucking our toes. Dropping our feet, dropping our weight onto our feet. Spending a little bit of time with your foot, separating your toes. That's tricky, right? Most of us don't spend enough time in the foot. Can you separate your toes? Can you see daylight between each of your toes? And can you get them long? You're about to spend a good amount of time on your foot standing up now as you go through your day. Catch yourself out. Are you walking on a foot that's spread? That would be ideal. Okay, see if you can maintain the foot spread as you land your heels, as you drop your head, as you're rolling back up. Keep your foot. Continue your roll back up, keep your foot. As you arrive at the top and now you're not looking at your foot, can you sense all the toes and the space between the toes? Close your eyes, can you sense your foot? Can you sense a little bit of pressure underneath your big toe and your pinky toe? Can you sense all the mounds of your feet? So really take the floor. If you can feel that and sense that, you'll notice your arches are working. If you can't feel your arches yet, lengthen those toes and press your knuckles down into the floor. You've got to get each one. Can you notice the energy that sets up in your legs? It's quite strong, right? That all starts in the foot. So suddenly your legs are operating optimally now, and it feels like you can just float your pelvis. But careful, check in with the foot again. Has it started to relax? Keep optimizing, keep working up through the spine now. What can you feel? What can you sense? Shouldn't be too much energy. You shouldn't need to lock the back or the shoulder or the head. Check back in with the foot. Can you get more fuel? Can you take the floor more? That sends a pumping message up through your legs. Gently open your eyes.